you ever stop to think about what you're telling yourself every day? What if I told you that the way you speak to yourself could be the key to unlocking your full potential? Imagine what would happen if you could change that conversation for just 3 days. Stick with me in this video, and by the end of this, you'll understand why this simple shift could be the change you've been waiting for. The power of self-talk is one of the most underestimated forces in a person's life. Every day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep, you are in constant conversation with yourself. The words you choose, whether consciously or unconsciously, shape your mindset, your emotions. Think about it. When you face a challenge, what's the first thing that runs through your mind? Do you say, "I've got this, I'll figure it out," or do you immediately think, "This is too hard, I can't do it"? That single moment of self-talk can be the difference between persistence and giving up. Your brain listens to what you repeatedly say, and over time, those words become your reality. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you'll never succeed, or that things never work out for you, your mind will accept those statements as truth. It will begin looking for evidence to confirm what you believe, reinforcing a cycle of doubt, fear, and inaction. On the other hand, if you speak words of strength, belief, and determination, your mind will shift toward possibilities, confidence, and progress. Some of the most successful people in the world have mastered this. They don't rely on external motivation to keep going. They create it within themselves. They understand that their words hold power, so they choose them wisely. When setbacks come, instead of saying, "I knew this wouldn't work," they say, "This is just a lesson. I'll get better." When they feel tired, they don't say, "I can't do this anymore." They say, "I have more in me. I can push through." These small shifts in language create a huge impact over time. The most amazing thing about self-talk is that it's entirely within your control. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need special resources. You simply need to make the decision to be mindful of your words. Start paying attention. Catch yourself when you speak negatively and immediately replace it with something empowering. It might feel strange at first. You might not believe it in the beginning. But just like a muscle grows stronger with repetition, so does your belief in yourself. The more you affirm your strengths, your abilities, and your potential, the more your mind will embrace them as truth. If you want to change your life, start by changing your words. Speak to yourself as if you are powerful, capable, and destined for success. Because you are. The mind is one of the most powerful tools we possess, yet most people don't realize how easily it can be influenced. Whatever you tell yourself repeatedly, whether positive or negative, your mind will accept as truth. This is why self-talk is not just about words, it's about shaping your entire belief system and ultimately your reality. When you constantly repeat something to yourself, your subconscious mind begins to accept it as fact. If you tell yourself every day, "I'm not good enough," "I always fail," or "I'm not smart enough," your mind will take those words and reinforce them. You will start noticing more of your mistakes, doubting your abilities, and hesitating when opportunities arise. Your brain is wired to confirm what you believe, so if you feed it negativity, it will find evidence to support that negativity. On the other hand, if you intentionally speak empowering words, if you tell yourself, "I am strong, I always find a way, I learn and grow from every challenge," your mind will also accept these as truth. It will begin to focus on your strengths rather than your weaknesses. You will start noticing your progress, your resilience, and your ability to overcome obstacles. Instead of dwelling on failure, you will start seeing possibilities. This is why people who succeed in life don't just work hard physically, they also work hard mentally. They don't allow their thoughts to sabotage them. They understand that their mind believes whatever it hears most often, so they make sure to feed it with thoughts of strength, confidence, and determination. It's not about ignoring reality. It's about programming your brain to focus on solutions instead of problems, on growth instead of setbacks. Scientific studies have shown that positive self-talk can improve performance, reduce stress, and even boost physical health. Athletes use it to enhance their abilities. Entrepreneurs use it to push through uncertainty. Leaders use it to stay focused and motivated. The common factor among high achievers is that they do not allow negative self-talk to control their lives. Instead, they take charge of their inner dialogue and direct it towards success. Your words create the foundation of your thoughts, and your thoughts shape your actions. If you speak confidence, you will act with confidence. If you speak doubt, you will hesitate. The choice is yours. Be intentional with what you tell yourself, because whatever you say over and over again, your mind will believe. And once your mind believes it, your life will follow. 3 days may seem like a short period, but when it comes to changing the way you think, it can be a powerful reset for your mind. The words you speak to yourself influence your confidence, decisions, and actions. If you spend years reinforcing doubt and negativity, you cannot expect an overnight transformation. However, if you make a conscious decision to change the way you talk to yourself for just 3 days, you will begin to see shifts in your mindset, energy, and even your results. The key is consistency. Most people try positive self-talk once or twice and then give up when they don't immediately feel different. But just like building a muscle, training your mind requires repetition. For the next 3 days, if you commit to replacing every negative thought with a powerful, empowering statement, you will start to feel a difference. It may be subtle at first. Perhaps you notice you're standing taller, feeling a bit more confident, or reacting differently to situations that would have frustrated you before. Then, as you continue, those small changes compound, and you begin to see yourself in a new light. It's important to understand that your mind has been conditioned over time. If you've spent years telling yourself, "I'm not good enough," "I always mess up," or "success isn't for me," then those thoughts have become automatic. They show up without effort because they've been reinforced for so long. But just like any habit, they can be broken. The next 3 days are about interrupting that cycle. Every time a negative thought comes, you replace it immediately. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," you say, "I am capable and I am improving every day." Instead of, "I always fail," you say, "Every challenge is an opportunity to grow and I always find a way." At first, your old thoughts will fight back. Doubt will creep in, and you may not believe the words you are saying. But belief is built through repetition. The more you speak these words, the more your mind will begin to accept them. 3 days of intentional self-talk will create a noticeable shift. You may find yourself approaching challenges with more confidence, feeling more optimistic about your future, and taking actions that align with success rather than fear. This is the beginning of a new way of thinking, one where you take control of your inner dialogue and use it to shape the life you want. Commit to these 3 days, and you will start to see the power of your own words in action. Many people unknowingly sabotage their own success with the way they talk to themselves. Negative self-talk is like an invisible chain that keeps you stuck in the same patterns, preventing you from reaching your full potential. The words you repeat to yourself become ingrained in your mind, shaping your beliefs and ultimately your action. If you constantly tell yourself that you're not good enough, that you always fail, or that success is for others but not for you, those thoughts will influence the way you live your life. The problem is that most people don't even realize they are doing this. They assume their thoughts are simply a reflection of reality, when in fact, their thoughts are shaping their reality. Every time you say, "I can't do this," you reinforce doubt. Every time you think things never work out for me, you program your mind to expect failure. The more you repeat these thoughts, the stronger they become, creating a loop that keeps you from taking action, from believing in yourself, and from pushing forward when challenges arise. Breaking this cycle is crucial, and it starts with awareness. Pay attention to your inner dialogue. How do you speak to yourself when things don't go as planned? Do you immediately criticize yourself, calling yourself a failure? Do you assume the worst and tell yourself that things will never change? If so, you are reinforcing a mindset that works against you instead of for you. The good news is that this cycle can be reversed. Just as negative self-talk creates self-doubt and hesitation, positive self-talk builds confidence and action. Imagine if instead of saying, "I always fail," you told yourself, "Every setback is a lesson, and I am getting better every day." Instead of thinking, "I am not good enough," you reminded yourself, "I have strengths and I am constantly growing." At first, it may feel unnatural because your mind is used to negativity, but with consistency, your thoughts will begin to change. The next 3 days are an opportunity to break the negative loop and replace it with thoughts that empower you. Every time you catch yourself speaking negatively, stop and change the narrative. Replace self-doubt with self-belief. Instead of reinforcing fear, reinforce courage. This small but powerful shift will create momentum, and soon you will notice yourself thinking, feeling, and acting differently. The way you talk to yourself matters more than you realize. Choose words that lift you up, not tear you down, and watch how your perspective and your results begin to change. Many people assume that success is purely a result of hard work, talent, or luck. While these factors do play a role, there is something even more fundamental that separates those who achieve greatness from those who remain stuck: their mindset. More specifically, the way they talk to themselves and the beliefs they hold about their own potential. Most people stay stuck not because they lack ability, but because they have programmed their minds with limiting beliefs that prevent them from taking action and reaching their full potential. Your mind is the command center of your life. It directs your decisions, your actions, and ultimately your outcomes. If deep down you believe that you are not worthy of success, that you don't have what it takes, or that life is always working against you, then no matter how hard you try, you will always find yourself hitting invisible walls. These walls are not external. They exist in your own thoughts. They are built from years of self-doubt, fear, and repeated negative self-talk. The truth is, success is not reserved for a select few. It is available to those who are willing to change their mindset and align their thoughts with their goals. But here's the problem. Most people don't realize that their biggest obstacle is the way they think. They work harder and harder, yet they never stop to examine the beliefs that are holding them back. They repeat phrases like, "I'll never be successful," "I'm just not lucky," or "I don't have what it takes," without realizing that these words are shaping their reality. Think about this. If you were given an opportunity right now, something that could change your life, how would you respond? Would you embrace it with confidence, or would you hesitate, thinking, "I'm not ready," or "What if I fail?" That moment of hesitation is the direct result of years of conditioning. Your mind has been trained to expect limitations, and as a result, you subconsciously create them. But here's the good news. You have the power to change it. If you start replacing those limiting beliefs with empowering thoughts, your mind will begin to shift. Instead of saying, "I can't," you will say, "I will find a way." Instead of fearing failure, you will see it as a stepping stone to success. This simple change in mindset can make all the difference. The reason most people stay stuck is not because they lack potential. It's because they are trapped by their own thoughts. Free your mind and you will free your future. Most people go through life without realizing the power they have over their own thoughts. They assume that the way they think and feel is automatic, dictated by circumstances, experiences, or emotions beyond their control. But the truth is, the mind can be trained, shaped, and directed, just like a muscle. If you take control of your thoughts and intentionally speak words of strength, belief, and possibility, your entire life will begin to change. The challenge is that most people don't consciously choose their thoughts. Instead, they operate on autopilot, repeating the same doubts, fears, and insecurities they've been conditioned to believe. They wake up thinking about problems. They go through the day focusing on what they lack. They speak words of frustration, limitation, and self-doubt without realizing that they are reinforcing those very struggles. Their minds have been programmed over time by negative experiences, societal conditioning, or even the words of others who told them they weren't good enough. But just as negative thinking is learned, it can also be unlearned. If you take just 3 days to be intentional about how you speak to yourself, you will begin to see a shift. The way you think affects the way you feel. The way you feel affects the way you act. And the way you act determines the results you get in life. If you want different results, it starts with changing the words you tell yourself daily. For the next 3 days, make it your mission to speak only words of power and belief. No matter what happens, refuse to speak negatively about yourself or your future. Instead of saying, "I'm not good enough," say, "I am growing, I am learning, and I am becoming better every day." Instead of saying, "I always fail," say, "Every challenge is teaching me something valuable." Instead of saying, "I don't have what it takes," say, "I have everything I need within me to succeed." At first, this may feel unnatural. Your mind might resist it because it has been conditioned to expect struggle and doubt. But don't stop. Push through. Keep speaking those words, even if you don't fully believe them yet. Over time, your mind will begin to accept them as truth. You will start noticing small changes. More confidence, more energy, a stronger sense of control over your life. This simple practice, done consistently, can transform your mindset and set you on a path to success. 3 days is just the beginning, but it's enough to prove to yourself that you have more power than you ever realized. Control your thoughts, control your words, and you will begin to control your future. The way you speak to yourself has a profound influence on the actions you take and the habits you form. The connection between your thoughts, words, and behaviors is undeniable. Self-talk is not just a mental exercise. It directly impacts the decisions you make, the steps you take, and the patterns you create in your life. Over time, these thoughts become habits, and your habits ultimately define your success or failure. The mind is incredibly powerful, and the words you speak to yourself, whether they are positive or negative, shape your actions and behavior. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt and insecurity, your actions will reflect that. You might procrastinate, avoid challenges, or shy away from opportunities because deep down, you don't believe you're capable of succeeding. When your thoughts are consumed with, "I can't," "I'm not good enough," or "this is too hard," your actions follow suit. You'll find yourself taking the easy road, avoiding risks and making excuses, all because your self-talk is steering you away from progress. On the other hand, when you consciously choose to speak words of encouragement, strength, and belief, your actions begin to shift in a more positive direction. Positive self-talk can drive you to take bold actions and tackle challenges head-on. When you tell yourself, "I can do this," "I'm getting better every day," or "I have the power to overcome this," your mind aligns with these beliefs. You start taking small, consistent steps toward your goals, and you become more willing to face adversity, knowing that you have the ability to navigate it. The impact of positive self-talk on your habits is especially significant. Habits are the foundation of your life. They dictate how you spend your time, how you respond to challenges, and how you interact with others. The thoughts you think today will eventually translate into the actions you take tomorrow. If your self-talk is positive, you're more likely to form productive, growth-oriented habits that support your long-term success. You'll develop habits like taking consistent action toward your goals, embracing failure as part of the learning process, and pushing yourself to improve every day. However, negative self-talk breeds habits that keep you stuck. It encourages procrastination, fear of failure, and avoidance. Over time, these habits become deeply ingrained, making it harder to break free from the cycle of self-doubt and inaction. If you consistently tell yourself that you're not good enough, you'll find it difficult to take the necessary steps to improve, because you won't believe you can. Changing your habits begins with changing your self-talk. When you start speaking positively to yourself, you are rewiring your brain to adopt new habits that serve your goals. The more you speak words of affirmation and encouragement, the more your brain will look for ways to support those beliefs through your actions. Over time, this shift will create a positive feedback loop. Your thoughts will drive your actions, and your actions will reinforce your beliefs. It's important to realize that self-talk doesn't just impact immediate decisions. It influences long-term behavior as well. The more you engage in positive self-talk, the more it becomes ingrained in your subconscious, and the more automatic it becomes to approach life with confidence and resilience. Eventually, you won't have to consciously remind yourself to think positively. It will become your default mode of thinking, and your actions will reflect that mindset. The power of self-talk is that it directly influences your actions and habits. The words you speak to yourself today can shape the decisions and habits that define your tomorrow. Choose your words wisely, because they have the potential to change the course of your life. With consistent practice, your self-talk will become a driving force behind the habits and actions that will lead you to success. The power of consistent positive self-talk may not always be immediately visible, but its long-term effects are nothing short of transformative. When you decide to commit to speaking kindly, encouragingly, and powerfully to yourself every day, you begin a journey that will reshape your mindset, your habits, and eventually your life. At first, the changes might seem subtle, but over time, these small shifts accumulate, leading to profound transformation. The truth is, the brain is incredibly adaptable. The way you speak to yourself is shaping the neural pathways that govern your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Every time you tell yourself, "I can do this," "I am capable," or "I will overcome this," you are reinforcing a mindset of possibility and growth. Repeating positive affirmations or constructive self-talk doesn't just make you feel better in the moment. It actually rewires your brain over time to default to a more confident, optimistic, and solution-oriented way of thinking. What you may not realize is that your mind is constantly listening to everything you say to yourself, whether you're consciously aware of it or not. If you continue to speak to yourself negatively, your brain starts to accept those negative beliefs as truth. On the other hand, when you practice speaking positively and constructively, your brain learns to see opportunities rather than limitations. Instead of focusing on what could go wrong, you start focusing on what could go right. This shift doesn't happen overnight, but the results are undeniable over time. Think of it like building a muscle. In the beginning, it might feel like you're not making much progress, and it can even feel unnatural. You might find yourself slipping back into old habits of self-doubt or criticism. However, the more consistently you practice positive self-talk, the stronger this new mindset becomes. Slowly, you will start noticing that the old negative thoughts don't come as easily anymore. You'll catch yourself thinking more positively, acting with more confidence, and even facing challenges with a solution-oriented mindset. As you continue with positive self-talk, the real magic happens. It starts to impact your actions. Your mindset drives the way you approach obstacles and opportunities. Instead of procrastinating or hesitating, you'll find yourself taking initiative, stepping out of your comfort zone and embracing growth. Your actions will start reflecting the new belief that you are capable of achieving success. Small victories build on themselves, and before you know it, you've made significant strides toward your goals. This transformation also extends beyond just your inner world. Over time, people around you will begin to notice the change in your energy and demeanor. A person who speaks confidently to themselves exudes a magnetic energy that attracts opportunities, people, and success. As your mindset shifts, so does the world around you. You'll begin to notice new opportunities for growth, advancement, and connection that you may have missed before. The beauty of this long-term transformation is that it doesn't require perfection. It only requires consistent effort. Even on the days when it feels hard or when doubt creeps in, stick with it. The power of positive self-talk doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to be consistent. Over time, those small daily affirmations and shifts in thought will compound into an entirely new way of living. In the end, the long-term impact of consistent positive self-talk is not just about changing how you feel. It's about transforming your entire life. This shift affects your mindset, your habits, your results, and ultimately the way you live every day. And as your life changes, so too will the future you're creating. Your words have more power than you realize. The way you speak to yourself shapes your thoughts, your actions, and ultimately your destiny. For the past 3 days, you've taken control of your self-talk, replacing doubt with belief, fear with confidence, and limitations with possibilities. But this is just the beginning. If 3 days can create a shift in your mindset, imagine what will happen if you continue this practice for a week, a month, or even a lifetime. The key is consistency. Keep speaking words of strength and success. Keep training your mind to focus on growth, solutions, and opportunities. Your future is in your hands. Your dreams are within reach. And the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is the way you choose to think and speak. So make the choice today. Keep going, keep believing, keep speaking life into your dreams. Because once your mind believes it, your life will follow.